Okay, so welcome you all. Thank you for being here with us. We are Annika, I'm Eva, and we've been talking about global classroom, sharing traditions and celebrations virtually. All right. So first of all, I come from Valencia, from a school called Guadalaviar. We were presenting 63 students. They were 14 and 15 years old, and their English level ranged from A2 to C1. Okay, we were three secondary school teachers involved in this project, and one English conversation assistant, and of course the IT department that we needed like every single time we were connecting. Annika.
Yeah, and I participated with 32 students from the Netherlands, from Amstelveen, close to Amsterdam. And they had multicultural backgrounds, were between 13 and 15 years old, boys and girls. She teaches as a only girls school, so that's a big difference.
In English in a in a girls' school, only girls' school.
I worked together with another trainee teacher and a teacher assistant and my colleagues from the IT department. So some background information. We worked together for 2 years, and during the first year, we focused on the everyday school lives of the students, and they talked about that a lot, and we really focused on their communicative skills. So having them interact, doing both synchronous and asynchronous assignments, having virtual face-to-face conversations. That was a good first step, but we wanted to take another step the next year, and we wanted to make a more focus on a more explicit cultural exchange. So we wanted to focus a bit more on their different cultural backgrounds, share cultural awareness, and embrace diversity. But how do you do that? How do you facilitate authentic and meaningful intercultural communication as a teacher? Well, we tried to work on that by changing the tasks we used in the first year and adding more explicit cultural elements to that. We also worked on our development as teachers and our pedagogical approach. Besides that, we'll also say a bit more about engagement and disengagement and share some dilemmas from our classrooms with you.
Yeah. So basically here we have a little table with what was kept from the first year that we were working together, what we changed, and the reason why we did so. Okay, basically the things that were changed because we wanted something that was meaningful to them. Okay, we were talking first about the schools here in the second and third task, and we decided to change to festivities like Christmas. There was big festivity, and that we thought there was a common festivity for all of us, okay? And then we narrow it down to festivities like Fallas and King's Days, okay? We wanted them to talk about cultural similarities and differences, all right? What we did was we kept the first part, okay? The first task was related to getting to know each other, okay? They love that part, yes? They love that part because they get to talk about themselves. They were able to send messages in Padlets before than anything else, okay? So they kind of like broke the ice there a little bit, okay? So they knew a little bit about their partners before they met them, all right? The fourth task was kept in structure as well. However, obviously the topic was different because the fourth task was based on the school during the first year that we were working together. But we decided to change it to Christmas, okay? We wanted to invite the students to use authentic interaction, all right? We thought that the fact that they were talking about something like the culture in their country, okay, as it was the case of the King's Days for the Netherlands or Fallas for us in Valencia, was something that was giving them a lot of freedom to talk about, all right? So we're missing, well, this is like within the task, like a little project description, how we put these things together, okay? Getting to know each other, as I have said, this was the shortest interaction, was only 20 minutes interaction. However, was the most enriching and satisfying interaction for our students as well. They love talking, they're teenagers, so they love talking about themselves. They have big egos at that moment in their lives, okay? So obviously, we guided them a little bit, just a little bit. We asked them, we helped them to build up like different questions that they could ask in case that they went blank during the interaction. Then they went into the BB room. They were so happy. They were using English or whatever type of English they knew, okay, in that moment, and they were doing so well. So they were so motivated that we said, yes, let's go for Christmas, okay, because that was the time of the year. Sinterklaas was about to happen here, and we had big Christmas in Spain, as we are mostly like a Catholic country, okay? So we thought, okay, so they have to ask each other questions. They need to know, they find out about whatever is going on. We thought that this huge festivity was going to be very productive, okay? But we'll see. And then we moved on to task 3 and 4, that they were linked together. The first part, they had to ask each other about King's Day festivity and Fallas festivity, and try to find differences and similarities, okay, for them to design an artifact, a final product together, okay? So they had to decide the things they liked from the Netherlands festivity and the things they liked from the one in Spain, put it together, add whatever they wanted, create a new festivity, and made up like a poster, okay? This is an image of the Padlet, as we see. This is the Fallas presentation and the King's Day. And this last part was presented in class, okay? Like here, we have a little video of Adana that was Annika's student. She was a brilliant partner to work with, to be honest with you. I don't know if we are going to be, just to show a bit of.
It's a presentation about the new festivity. We don't have a name yet, but yeah. So it's gonna be like the second week of March, because that is between the King's Day and Fallas. So that is like gonna be 1 week. So you also get a week of school and work. They're gonna be like krampjes, markets with traditional foods like churros and orange tompoes, and also other kind of foods, of course. They're gonna be a combination of the traditions, like they're gonna be orange clothing and yeah, orange color, food and fireworks, and also fire when you burn the statues. Yeah, the culture combination when you mix the Fallas and King's Day. Yeah.
Okay, so that was Adana. She was brilliant. Seriously, they did an amazing work together. And then how did we teachers organize these tasks? We have these little steps that were common to all the tasks that we were doing. We had the pre-task tasks and post-task presentation that teachers gave in a class to our students, and we told them more or less what they had to do, like give them a few steps to follow. They prepared their work, okay, their presentations, their work, their questions, whatever. Then the Padlet posts that were volunteers, but they loved the interaction. Then feedback from students, which is key for all of us, okay, for all type of teachers and students, okay, knowing what they think, okay, if they liked it, even not what they changed, what not. And then the big online meeting, okay, with teachers. We all put together, we wanted to, whatever we wanted to implement, to change, to improve, okay? So this is this. Now, we move on to development as a teacher. This should be called more than anything else, what do we do? Okay, like what's our job description? What were we doing? Okay, we started like guiding and supporting our students, okay? We wanted them to feel support, guided, and we finished multitasking, which is quite common, and we had to be open to it, and then solving technical problems that we never thought that we were going to be able to solve, okay? So we started by planning. Planning was required a lot of work and a lot of time. It was difficult sometimes because we had a very tight curriculum in Valencia as well. And some of the things here, or some of the parts of the project weren't sticking to our curriculum. So we had to make a lot of time, like complementary. Motivating the students and trusting the process. Teachers need to be motivated to do this. We are a big engine within the whole project. So we need motivation, okay? One of the key things for me was every time an interaction finished, they were so happy, they were so delighted with themselves. That was so enriching for me as well as a teacher, okay? Then ensuring the project was productive and engaging. As you can see, engaging is a big thing. Yes, it is, obviously. And then monitoring, process, and assessing, considering the wide diversity of students. In Annika's case, for example, the diversity as well was a cultural diversity. There were people from different nationalities, different cultures, different backgrounds. In our case, we live in Spain. We had a school full of Valencian girls. Nevertheless, they come from different houses, okay? Like different social, there's a lot of social diversity within the same school, okay? There's also diversity because they are Valencian, but they come from parents that they are Russian, they are Italian. So customs, traditions are also different in their own houses, okay? Then, of course, English level, as I say, A2 to C1, oh my God, there's a lot to work there. And then possible learning issues. This is something that we were very careful to deal with and to manage, because we don't want those who have learning issues to feel that like they can't do this, because this has to be open for absolutely everyone in the schools. Then innovative, here we have Barry, we miss Barry. We have Barry, Barry and Begoña, they came along to our school to do a workshop on 3D glasses, okay? And they had a great experience. They tried all the different worlds in the life, and they were so, seriously, they were so happy. They were so delighted. They just loved it so much, seriously. It was innovative. We also had to learn because I never tried them before, all right? So we learned new skills, of course. Then adapting activities, of course, and then establishing norms and rules. We want a safe environment for our students. They are minors as well, okay? So we need to know very well what they have to do, what they are not allowed to say, how to behave, okay? And the last one, sorry, is the encouraging open-mindedness. This was my big goal. As I say, we are in a little school in Valencia. We are more or less all from the same background, okay, except some exceptions. But I wanted them to open their mind to other cultures and other possibilities in different countries and from different schools as well, okay? So now, Annika.
Yeah, we also had to work on our pedagogical approach, and we were really helped with this by Christy, who provided some interaction rules and positive attitude rules. I mean, the interaction rules might seem really familiar to all kinds of group work we do with our students, like they all have to help each other out, participate, and contribute. But especially the last one, like using the names and alternate turns and prevent simultaneous speech, are more specific, of course, for synchronous interactions. And especially the positive attitude rules are new rules we had to bring to our classroom to create these very fruitful interactions between the students, because often they are not aware of some of the elements like showing interest and smiling and giving compliments and positive feedback. They don't know in advance how helpful this is for their interaction before we really discuss this with them. And because, especially because we already had 1 year of experience, we could come up with examples of the previous year to explain why it was so important to also abide by the positive attitude rules.
Oh, this is me. Yes, this is me again, and this is my last one. Okay, so engaging and disengaging. This is a big title for the slide, okay? But we found, like, of course, like positive things and negative things, like in any place. The chosen topics were so appealing for most of them, although they weren't for some of them. Why? Because of the culture, okay? Perhaps it's something that we took for granted, like, okay, they are going to do Christmas, they are going to celebrate King's Day and fires. No, because it's something they don't do at home. They come from a different culture. Their family traditions are completely different. So why, you know? So then receiving messages in Padlet was 100% satisfying, a positive, and motivating. Well-designed materials. If they look nice, if things that you are handling, they look nice, it seems like more appealing to them as well to work. It looks like a silly thing, but seriously, it's not. okay? Things that are organized, clean, and tidy work. Being out of the classroom environment, as we all do, okay? When we are outside of our normal area of work, we like that and we enjoy it. Then these two go together because meeting new people and talking about themselves, they enjoyed it a lot. But realizing through this that they knew more English than they thought was a huge achievement for them. I mean, seriously. And they learned so many as well problem-solving skills because they were in that situation sometimes like, okay, so what do you think? And the microphone wasn't working and the camera, whatever. And they were like, tell me if your name is Owen like this or if it's Mark like this, you know? So this type of solutions that they were giving, you know, because they had the urge to communicate. And then, of course, this is a tiny little clip of the engagement of certain people. It felt contagious. Why? They were so good working together that every time they came back to class from an interaction, they were so excited that the whole class was waiting for them to tell us all about it, okay? So in this case, we are going to see David, Paula, and Isabel trying to create a new holiday, okay? So David is proposing something in a very nice way, and the girls are very happy about it. So,
do you know what carnival is?
Yes.
It's a big party in the Netherlands, and you have all kinds of parades with all kinds of big trucks who are all versierd, made up with all kinds of wood and
Okay. We are going
things.
to. Yeah.
So, what's the English word?
Yes.
Alright, a parade.
Okay.
so then she's getting the pen and writing it down to add it to the holiday from the other side in Spain, to the new festivity. Sorry. And then we move to the disengaging points that we found. Of course, we were talking beforehand about all the technical problems. This happened here as well. This is a generation that they are born in the immediate things, okay? So when something doesn't work, it's so frustrating for them as well. So if the peer didn't turn on the camera, if they didn't try to speak, if it didn't work because of technical problems, perhaps the other person didn't want to be seen as well. I don't know. There were so many little things that we had to do, and it was so frustrating for them. The monotony of the task, it refers to the fact that there was all like no one where they were talking, but the work that had to be previously done and post-task done, it was very monotonous. And the fact that they had to be, there was a presentation, then we had to fill a form, then they were preparing the BBB room. So they thought that that was monotonous. We only did it twice. Okay, so that's the type of students we're having to work in their final presentations. As we have previously mentioned, we were in June, okay, deadlines, exams, everything else going on, hysteria around the place. So anyway, I had to award them with extra points to get them to work, and they did a fantastic work, and they got the extra point anyway. And this, okay, this. All right, we didn't know what to do, either to show it to you or not, but I think that it works very well with the point that we want to deal with now. This picture is the King's Day presentation for Maria and Laura for Jonah. Okay, the presentation, and then Maria and Laura's presentation about fallas, all in pink. Yeah, you see it. Okay, what happens here? This is me 10 years, by the way. This links to this, okay? Perhaps he wasn't motivated because of the topic. Perhaps he was just making a joke. I don't know. I like to think that probably was a culture thing, no? And that he didn't do it. I don't know. He wasn't interested or whatever. But you meet these situations, okay? This was a challenge, yes, for me. They didn't tell me anything. I found the picture while I was checking the online connections. And I was then in a big dilemma, okay? What should I do? Should I just tell them, listen, what happened here? Or should I just let it go and just forget about it, as they said nothing? And this is like kind of like a segue to our next section that Annika is going to talk about. So
Yeah, so talking about dilemmas, I hope we've shown you that we learn just as much as the students because it's really a journey and you have to figure out and trying to solve problems along the way. And so we wanted to share some of our dilemmas with you. And these are just 4 out of a big selection. So here we have what if you designed a task about Christmas, but some of your students don't celebrate Christmas? I mean, we had the idea that everybody could relate to Christmas, but that was definitely not the case for a couple of my students. And we have an example. I don't know whether we can show it.
Yes.
Or-
What festivities you have at Christmas?
Yeah, I don't really celebrate Christmas, but we do have a Christmas tree. But we have in December also another celebration, but that's only in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Do you like any specific sport or generally you like skiing and football or something like that?
Well, I think both students did a tremendous job because the Dutch boy also already introduces another festivity you would be willing to talk about. And the Spanish students come with a new question. So they both keep the interaction going, but it was a bit of a hiccup. This was definitely not what we expected of the interaction, which is of course fine, but interesting. And it's a challenge for us as students always to prepare the right tasks and help students along the way. Some other dilemmas were, what if you want your students to interact in an authentic way, but they keep having question-answer conversations? Or what if students talk to classmates instead of their VE partner? Or what if you work at a girls' school and work together with a boys' and girls' school? And the students find this really interesting to meet each other. So we would like to ask you to turn to one of your neighbors and pick one of the dilemmas and have a short discussion of about 2 minutes. What you would do if this would be your problem and you would, find yourself in this situation during your lesson.
We are okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We were just telling each other that you obviously are really engaged, and you all had meaningful intercultural communication
Yes,
going.
exactly.
So thank you so much for that. We were just wondering, did any of you find a wonderful solution to the first dilemma? Did any of you discuss the first dilemma? No, you all picked another one. Oh, you did? Wonderful. Could you say something about it?
Yeah, my idea would be to just keep it more general, maybe not Christmas, but just ask what is a big holiday that you celebrate with your family or whatever. Yeah, make it more general.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. You don't have. I have. Thank you very much. Yes, that's a perfect solution. That's something that we've been thinking about as well. Like, just let's talk about festivities in a general way, because perhaps they celebrate something completely different. Perhaps the year starts in January, like in China. So perhaps they can talk about that. I think that's a great solution. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.